Hey guys. Okay, some folks have been asking how I make my videos and or specifically my artwork streams, and I thought I would just do a really quick sort of office tour here, studio tour. So we'll go ahead and do that. Forgive the mess a little bit. Some of my office is still pretty disorganized. I've got this lot of disorganization there. There's me with my short beard and my beautiful wife. Her again back there. My knife collection, all my binoculars, which I really never use, random other stuff that I use for other things. But here's kind of where the magic happens, as they like to say. So it looks a lot more complicated than it really is. So I'll just take you through it here. If anyone else is watching with disabilities, especially anyone with ankylosing spondylitis, like myself, this stupid little camp chair is probably my third or maybe my fourth one that I've bought. I get them on Amazon. I can't remember the name, but this is a comfortable chair for me. It wasn't at first. At first it put kind of weird pressure on my legs right behind my knees when I sat in it, but I guess, I don't know, maybe I've kind of gotten used to that, or I don't know exactly, but sitting in that, it's almost kind of like a hammock. That is much easier on my low back for sitting for very long than anything else, really. So this is the chair that I use while I'm working on my artwork, because I can't really get up close to the screen while reclined in that goofy office chair, or camp chair. So this is my office chair. Nothing super fancy about that. Back here I've got my old computer. I've had this forever. I don't even know how old this is. It's been upgraded so many times. And sometime, in like 2012, 2013? Was it that long ago? Somewhere, yeah, I think it was somewhere around there. I felt like I needed to upgrade again, and I looked at a lot of options, but I felt like as I was starting to do a little bit of design work on the side, it would be helpful if I could go meet my clients, show them artwork, and work on projects anywhere I'm at. So I bought this MSI laptop. And I love this thing. It's a gaming laptop. It's enormous, 17-inch screen. It was really hard to find a backpack that would fit it. I ended up with this Victorinox backpack to fit it. It has a backpack compartment and padded areas and pockets and all that, but it was big enough to fit. So that was hard to find. But upgraded to that. It's worked really, really well for the artwork. It also works well for playing games. So I like to play games, especially like Skyrim, stuff like that. You can see I got my controller there. There's my gaming headset, which is also what I use to make my stream videos, and probably why my audio quality is super not awesome. And I'm sure it's not any better on this cell phone. But so this monitor back here is connected to this computer. And it has a large 2 terabyte hard drive in it for storage, and that's what I do with it, mostly for like personal photos and stuff that I want to keep. I store it on there. At some point I'll probably set it up as more of a media center for my living room or something, but I really don't use it anymore. It's still on Windows 8.1, and it's old now, so it's not terrible. It's not a terrible computer by any means. It would probably still run my programs somewhat well, but when you get into a lot of layers, especially in Photoshop, you need a little more processing power. So anyway, it looks really complicated here because of that, but that's really nothing. All of that's not even in use. All I'm really using is my laptop, which I usually keep straight because I'm kind of OCD, but when I'm working I need it crooked because my monitor's straight. So I've got that. I really like the backlit keyboard because I can work whenever I want. I can always see the different keys. They all light up from behind, so even if I'm, you know, inspired to work on something at 12 at night, I can hop on it, get to work, and not have a bunch of lights on and glare and all that. So I kind of like that. Really basic mouse, literally Amazon Basics. I'm a lefty when it comes to mice, so I don't have a whole lot of options. Also kind of a weird thing with my some of my issues, medical issues, whatever. A wireless mouse is absolutely necessary. If I have a wire on there or that little bit of resistance when I'm working, I don't know what it is. It really messes with me, and I can't handle it. It makes my hands fatigue really fast and hurt. So yeah, so anyway, basic mouse. Right here you can see my stylus. This is what I'm drawing with, and I've got the so let's see if I can focus here. Probably not. We'll hold it back here. I've got one of the felt tips on there, I think, right now. I really like those felt tips. This is a Wacom stylus, really basic, and this is the real powerhouse of the production here. So this is my Cintiq 24, I think 24-inch display, and you can see it's super glary. I've got my window open. There's my tree that I need to cut down because it's too close to my house. There was a squirrel on it just a minute ago, but I think he's taken off. But yeah, this is how I work. So let me sit down here real quick and I'll kind of show you. So I've got buttons on the sides, both sides, and as you can see, like I think I've mentioned before, they're not labeled. They are programmable. They can do whatever I want them to do, any key combination I need for whatever program I'm using, and the software is able to even detect, I think, what program I'm using to swap profiles. I think so. I haven't actually done it. I haven't bothered to set it all up because I mostly only use this for drawing in Sketchbook, and it's already kind of set up to do what I need. So I've got a big wheel here, as you can see. I zoom that wheel, we zoom in our image. I can change function here, so there's brush size. I don't know if I've got that linked up. What I really use is rotate. So that's how I'm rotating the artwork there. Just moving my finger. Really simple. The zoom, and then let me grab my stylus, switch hands here. So I'm actually right-handed. I just use my mouse left-handed. I do a few other things left-handed, but I'm actually a right-handed person, so I had to switch hands. So basically, let's see if I can try and video this while doing it. This is going to be interesting. Let's create a new layer so I don't screw up with this guy that I've been working on. Let's grab a color. And as you can see, it's just like a touchscreen. It's not actual touchscreen. If I push on this with my finger, nothing happens. The new ones are touchscreen, so you can do all the rotation and everything with your hands, touch buttons, all that stuff with your finger. Really intuitive. I asked them if they were coming out with anything like that when I bought this, and they said no. And so I bought this one. They didn't have any big upgrades planned. Then that one came out like 3 months later. I was kind of frustrated with that. Although I assume if I was going to be drawing on it, I couldn't have my hand touching it. That would be a problem. So I'd probably have to have one of those weird little pinky gloves or something. That might have been kind of frustrating. So really it served my purpose really well. It was a huge investment and wouldn't have been possible without my wife. Same with the laptop. She's really been my support, like I couldn't even describe. So this is it, and basically I can draw on there just like a real drawing. So if I do light pressure, I'm getting very light strokes. If I do heavy pressure, I get very heavy strokes. It's all sensitive to that. It's also sensitive to which way the orientation of the pen is. I do have a couple of buttons on the pen, if you can kind of see those there. There's like a right click. One of these is right click. I don't know, maybe I disabled them. I hate these buttons. I don't know. I don't like these at all. These are terrible. You got buttons on your machine. You can use it through your other hand. Don't put buttons on the pen, because you hold the pen when you're drawing. A lot of people, I think, hold it up close. This is where you hold a pen. This is how you draw. You get the finest control when you're close to the end, the nib, or the lead on a pencil or whatever. So this is where you're drawing. But look, you rotate your pen at all, which you wouldn't know, but you do it when you're drawing or writing, and you end up pushing those buttons and opening menus and doing stupid things. So Wacom, lose that button. That's dumb. Nobody needs that. Anyway, so that's it. It's so basically very very simple. Here's my color palettes, where I've got my color wheel. I don't really use this. I should use this. Wow, that's actually handy. I never use that one, but I do use this one quite a bit to change the size of the brush. And let's see if we can kind of demonstrate angle. Yeah, there we go. So there's a broad angle, and here's a more narrow angle. I'm just tilting the pen different, and the brush, you kind of have to imagine it with your brain. Imagine what that brush actually looks like. But it does behave like I've got a wide brush. I'm using the wide brush icon there. So wide brush right here. But yeah, that's basically it. It's not really all that complicated. It's really cool technology. The surface on here is weird, and if you actually could feel this, it sort of feels like a screen, but it has sort of a texture to it, kind of like paper. So if you had maybe like tracing paper that was super fine glued down to glass, that's kind of what this feels like. And it creates a little bit of resistance that's very natural on the pen, and especially when you use one of the felt tips here. If I can focus that, I don't know. When you use one of these felt tips, it's kind of hard to tell there. Actually, this one I think is one of the plastic ones. Yeah, I think that's plastic. So, but the felt one really adds to that sort of just really light resistance that just feels really natural. So I really like that, but that light material, the felt sort of material in there, it wears out really quickly. So let's see if I can show you that, or the nibs. Here, let's pull this up. So this actually, this whole thing, there's my note and my my notepad and my tissues, power for my laptop here. There's a power cable back there. There's also a big USB cable that plugs into my laptop, and there's a big DVI cable for running the actual visual screen. I don't know if they still use that many cables or not, but that's what I have on mine. This base is super heavy. I don't remember exactly how much this thing weighs. I think the whole thing weighs like 80 pounds. It's very heavy, but that means it's very solid. I can kind of lean against it when I'm working, just like a real artist's easel. So I like that. Anyway, let's see if I can show you this. I don't know if I can show you this with one hand. This is the little base that Wacom gives you. You can maybe see it. I didn't dust that. I actually dusted my office right before I filmed this video. Make it look a little nicer. In Colorado, man, you get a lot of dust, especially in Colorado Springs. And especially if you open your window to get some air. Okay, let's see if I can twist this off. So this actually, it took me forever to even realize this was a feature. I think I saw it in a video. So maybe this will really be a game changer for somebody. This unscrews, and I can't do that with one hand. So let me pause this for a second. Okay. Magic of pausing the recording because I don't know anything about editing. So this part screws off. It's just real basic thread, doesn't take much. And you have a whole set of nibs in the base, the weighted base. So you can see here, this is one of the felt ones that I like. And you can kind of see how it's been worn down a little bit. and I've been kind of saving it. I just need to order a bunch more, really. Here's one you can see that it's now, it's not round anymore. It's a chisel tip because I've used it and it's worn down on there. But I really like those. Let's see. We've also got these plastic ones. I don't know how you really tell the difference on all the plastic ones. That's the same. That's the same. I think there's one that has a spring on it, and that might be the actual one I'm using. It must be. There's a little metal piece here. This I use to pull the nib out, and so you just basically stick it on the end. You're supposed to unscrew that piece there, and then there's like different color rings you can put on there, I guess, to identify if you went and bought multiple of these styluses. You could identify them by the different color rings you put on or something, maybe. But I haven't bothered to do that. Let's see if I can pull that one out and show you what I think that one is. Let me pause again for just a second. Okay, yeah, that was it. So here, this one is plastic, but it has a little bit of a spring in there. Can you see that? Will it focus? Little spring that flexes, as you can see. Let's put it here. There's a flex to it. So this one, even though it's plastic, it gives a little bit of a brush feel to it, just like using a paintbrush. And I really like that also. I probably would replace all my black plastic nibs with felt and this spring-loaded one, and that's all I think I would ever want to use. They're really, those are the good ones, in my opinion. That's what I like. So, I mean, everyone's different. You're gonna feel different about how you like to draw. But when working on that screen, even though there's a little bit of a texture, slight resistance, using those hard plastic ones, I just feel like the pen slides around and it's not smooth. You can't really draw smoothly with it, or I can't draw smoothly with it, I don't feel like. So anyway, I think that pretty much covers it. So when I'm drawing, typically, of course, let me pop this loose here. I'll pull my nibs around here. Made a mess. Oh man. Let's see if I can put this back together. Oh, this might be interesting if I can do this with my one hand. No, it's not going to focus, and I got a plane flying overhead. Oh, will you focus? You're way too close to focus. So that just slides in. You just push it in, and it's there. So it has a little resistance just pushing on it, and then either direction you might slide it, it has a little resistance there, or a little give rather, and I like that a lot. And then this just screws back on to the base. There we go. That I can do one-handed. Oh, I already loosened this. So this comes down. It's basically mounted on those arms there, so it can come down and rest against the base of my table. I've got little paddles here on the sides. These are actually used to adjust the angle of the screen. And then I could actually use it all the way up if I wanted to, and then use those to adjust the angle like an artist's easel. If I wanted to raise this up and use it like standing or something like that, more like a traditional painting. But I don't do that. I can't stand for very long anymore. So plus I don't know what you would rest this 80-pound monitor on top of your desk. That would take some custom construction of some kind to build that up. So, but it's possible if you get one. So again, this is the Wacom Cintiq tablet. Cintiq is CINTIQ, and I think the new ones are, this is called HD, but it's a 24-inch. The new ones come in the same size. There's some smaller ones. They have touchscreen capabilities, And now they even have some that run Android, so you can have an Android tablet that also has all of the features for this, of the pressure controls and all that for drawing. And then you can get them also, I think, with Windows on them, like the Microsoft Surface. I know that was a thing for a little while. Or you can have it set up, I think the Android one, when you plug it into your computer, it switches to just being a monitor, just like this is. And when you unplug it, then it switches over to the Android operating system so that you can run, your Autodesk Sketchbook app on Android on it if you want, and then run the full app on your computer when you have it plugged in, Mac or Windows. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I do have a tiny little webcam back there. I also have a webcam on my laptop. I haven't figured out how to hook those up, so I thought at first that maybe I would put myself down in the corner of the screen while I'm working, and then I could turn to the camera and talk to you, sort of Bob Ross style, when I'm just talking, because just staring at a screen doing nothing is really boring. But I haven't really figured out how to set that up in my OBS Studio software that I use for streaming. So I don't know how to do that. And I don't know if it would really look that fantastic with this bright window behind me anyway. I'd probably have to somehow mount my webcam over there. But anyway, I kind of thought this would be like a 5-minute video, and I managed to chatter on here for 20 minutes, so more than 20 minutes. So I think that's enough. Yeah. If you have questions about the workspace or how that works, I guess let me know. Leave me a comment. I apologize, I've been having trouble finding comments. I don't get any kind of notification from YouTube when I get a comment. So I've been asking you guys to leave comments, and really appreciate those. They really help, I think, the channel. I think YouTube really pays attention to whether I'm getting comments, so that's really helpful, actually. But I don't see them very well. So if I don't get back to you on YouTube, it could be if it's an older video. I'm probably not going to be checking the older ones very regularly. I'll probably just be checking the more recent ones for a few days after I post them or something like that. But if you go to my Facebook page, you can definitely reach me on Facebook. That's much easier. So 5012Design is the Facebook page, and hit me up there, and I'll respond to the messages there and answer questions. I usually share the stream, the actual individual video stream. I share that when I'm about to go live, so it's also a good way to get notifications when I'm about to do a video live on Twitch, and then it'll have a link to Twitch, and you can comment right on that one, and then I'll know exactly which video you're talking about as well. So that's really handy. So again, facebook.com/5012design, just like it's spelled there. On Twitch, I'm Uncle Mike 5012, and you can also find my website, which is sadly very out of date, at 5012design.com. And I think that pretty much covers everything. I would give you my YouTube channel, but it's a really long random string of hexadecimals. So once I get enough subscribers over on YouTube, I'll be able to set that to Uncle Mike 5012 or whatever I choose to set it to. I'm not sure exactly, because I film other stuff there. I got other stuff on YouTube than just the artwork. So I may use the Uncle Mike moniker instead. I'm not sure. We'll see. Anyway, that's enough. This video is way too long. I hope that was helpful, and let me know if you have questions. Have a great day.